Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. This is the first video that I've made since returning from my holiday. You'll probably see others, and you won't see this for weeks. But yeah, I'm suffering really badly from jet lag and stuff, and so I thought I'm just gonna create. I'm kind of withdrawal symptoms of creating. I did manage to do some on the plane. But I started this, so this is the top bit of paper bag. So I get my prescriptions from Boots, and they're in these brown gusseted bags. So I just cut the bottom off, split it open, that's the inside, and stuck some book pages down that just happened to be around my desk. Now I have filmed this, and I couldn't speak, so I filmed it, and I've like double or quadrupled the time, and I've done a bit of voiceover. Well, I will do. I haven't done it yet. I will do. And then I thought, well, I've then went and had a shower and things, and I feel a bit better. So I thought I'll film this bit. I might do some speeding up as we go. So so you can see where I've cut the bag. I went just below where the fold was, slit the seam, and there we have a nice strip using clear PVA glue there. I'm not diluting it, it's just straight out the bottle. Bit of an experiment, but I just felt this was probably the easiest way of doing it, especially in my fragile state of jet lagged and full of an allergic reaction through not taking my antihistamines on the plane. Silly me. So yeah, just spreading it all out with my little silicone brush there, and I'm using just like the whole sheet. So just wanted to get it quick down, and I liked that sheet. It's got nice little funny little meteorological, I think that's what they were, markings on it. So I'm using my glass mat so I can easily clean as I go to try and keep the brown on the back as clear as possible. And yeah, and then on the other side I've got some smaller book pages. They're all vintage book pages, could have used modern, it doesn't really matter. I just have lots and lots of vintage books, so I like the way they're like faded around the edge. It gives it a nice effect. It happened to be 2 sheets there. Wondered why it was a little bit resistive when I was ripping it. So then I'm just going to use another sheet on the bottom going in a different direction, because it's kind of like a mass make masterboard. It doesn't really matter which way round things are. I think that adds to the interest and the appeal of them. So I'm going to put one along the bottom, and then as my desk had bits and bobs left over from crafting before I went away, I'm just sort of going to patch that top bit with things I had left over, and I think again that sort of adds to the interest. So that's what I'm doing. I quite like the fact that there is some nice page edges there as well. I like having the blank spaces. That's really good for if you're adding stamps or anything to it. It gives it a nice plain background for doing that. So one last little clean up there, ready to trim off all those edges there, not being that precise, because when I cut it up for tags and things, I'll use my trimmer to make sure the edges are clear, but there's no point in having them there now. They'll just be adhering stuff to it for no reason. So that is how I prepared my substrate ready for the mass make. This one's a bit more bitty, so I just had one big sheet there that stuck down, a sheet there that stuck down, then I stuck the same page there, and then I had these little bits and bobs. So I just thought this is giving me a nice background, so if I turn them into tags or journaling cards,
then they've got the background ready for journeying on. Even if they end up as pocket fronts or belly bands, I always tend to like ink the back anyway, just in case you see bits, so quite happy with that. It's nice and robust. I've used some clear PVA glue. The only difference between this, I think, in the white PVA glue is it's clear. Yeah, other than that, it's exactly the same, I think. I used it undiluted. I don't normally use PVA because it does sort of wrinkle. But I have ironed this, so I put it on the radiator to dry, and I have ironed it to keep it flat. But I find that the corners roll up and that when you use a water-based ink. I didn't want to use glue stick because it would take in loads. It took hardly any of this, and what was left over in my little pot, I decanted it into a pot. I just put back, wasn't much left over. £2.99 for that, 500 mils, going to last me ages. So yeah, well, I've had it years anyway. So now I'm thinking, what am I going to do on the top? I want to do a sort of a mass mate, part of like the Junk Journeying Mass Mate March. But this won't be seen, I think, now, because we're coming up to the end of March now. I got these lovely napkins that I got from my visit last summer to Portmeirion. And so I thought I might put them on it, and then I might do some stamping and some inking, and we'll see. But I like these, so I'm going to get sort of different effects with them, because they've got like white or creamy backgrounds. That's gonna sort of disappear when you sort of glue it on, and then you'll still see the background through. So I thought that might be nice, bit of a floral element going on there. I love this. I don't want to cover too much of that up, so here I still want to see that. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. This is the other napkin, which I really like, and I like this because it's got all sorts of different things on. I think that's quite blocky and quite dark, so I might sort of do this so that that bit's not actually on the paper. And then that's quite white, so this should still show through. That's my thoughts. That's thoughts I have. So I need to delayer, and I thought I'd stick these down. I have done them with glue stick, and I've done them with gel medium as well. I'm not going to do them with PVA because I've found in the past that you get like a shiny effect. I don't want a shiny effect. I'm sure I've done them with matte medium before, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to squeeze a bit of this into my pot. It's had the clear PVA, but that's fine. Squeeze it in. Oh, that's quite a lot, Jez. I can always put back what I don't use. Well, I can't actually. It's really difficult to put back in here. But there we go. Well, I could unscrew it, actually. I could probably manage it. I sound really pathetic. Sorry for myself. There we go. I'm doing this all on my glass mat so that I can just wipe it. So I'm just gonna, so this is my silicone brush. You've seen me use this before, meant for hairdressing. So it's not a brush at all, it's just a flat piece. And I just find it spreads really easily, and then when it dries off it just peels off. So I quite like that. So move that out of the way. So I just feel like I haven't used napkins for ages. This wasn't what I was going to do when I started this, and then I just thought, oh, it'd be quite easy to do. I want something that I don't have to think about. I was going to get loads of stamps out, and I still may stamp a bit, but I just thought if I get my stamps out, and then I've got to clean them all afterwards and then put them back in the various boxes, and I was like, I'm not even sure I feel up to that. So yeah, right, so I'm going to put this on where it is currently stuck up to. Right, that's caught down now already. There we go. We're doing that. That's where it is. That's where it's going. So there we go. And you have to be a bit gentle. Bits there that look like it's not stuck down very well, but that's okay. And I'm gonna get a little brush now. So there we go. Got a brush now. I'm gonna softly go over with this brush. I found before when I went over the top of a napkin that I managed to rip it a bit. So I'm just going to brush a bit of this on with my brush. There. And then where it hasn't quite stuck underneath, it's now stuck. There we go. And I love, as you can see, now, as this has gone on top, all the writing on the book page is now showing through. And I just think that's a lovely effect. It's really pretty. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I think most of these are vintage books, but really you can use any book. I took a book on holiday to do some crafting on. And it's not an old book, but it doesn't matter. I was just using it for the base. I got a load of I bought some digital packs by Kerry Fellows that were like lots of strips for doing decoupaging. Not decoupaging, that's what you're doing now, Jess. To do collaging with. Inspired by the Tim Holtz collage strips. And that's not stuck down there, so I can do a bit on the other side. Let's put some on the underside. Ripped a slight bit there, but don't matter. Don't matter that bit. That's all. Because we can stick something over that. Just adds to interest, doesn't it? Yeah, so what I did is I had a modern book. And I just thought, oh, that'd be quite easy on an aeroplane in your small cramped space. That I might be able to do some of that. And so I did. I created a couple of pages, and then whilst on holiday there were a couple of times when we were just having a little rest in between our very busy itinerary of like trying to do absolutely everything we possibly could on the island. And I thought, oh, it might actually be quite good to turn it into an altered book. So I started sort of like doing some of the pages as if I was going to turn it into an altered book. And it was just like, it's not a modern book. And it didn't matter. Because you're just using it as a base. It doesn't matter. No, I love the way that's looking. Love it. Right, so now I'm going to think about this edge. Because there are some darker bits on it, and I don't particularly want those darker bits, so it was this way round you were going, Jess. It's a good job I tried that out. So if I get that darker bit at the bottom, which you can't see, get that off, and then you've got a little bit of that coming on there. So I could cut that out. That's what I'm going to do. I am going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut these dark sections because I don't want them. Don't want those dark sections. They're kind of woodland scenes. I might have a purpose for them. at some point, but right now I don't. So they're coming off. Getting this one out. So that's that bit out. And I might just take that bit off the top there. I'm just going to go straight across, I think. Just simplest. Right, then we can see what we got. Because I like this bit, let's do that so I can still see that under there. And then I might put a strip down there. Alright, so we got that, and then just gonna put this along the edge. Bit crinkled there. And then go over the top with my brush. Right, so that's that done. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Shouldn't take too long. So we'll just leave that, and then when it's dry I can trim up the ends off, and then I can see about what else I want to add to this. So there we are, it's nearly all dry. So I'm just going to trim off the bits over the edge, and then I've got some scraps for something else. So that's what we've got. So there's obviously a definite sort of two sides to it, but that's okay. We can see the writing through, and I really like that, and that kind of lends itself to sort of be tags that way, but I don't know. I've got some lines here where the paper's joined, lines here between the two napkins, and these have got lines on them naturally because that was the pattern. So I quite like that because that's actually one sheet of paper behind there. So I thought, well, I might go all what I call go all out Artie Mays and do a bit of stuff to it, gesso. I might go and do a bit of gesso in. I might put some gloves on. And I'm just gonna dip my finger in. I was just watching Andrea do this today with something, and I just want to just go along where these edges are, soften them a bit. And because the napkin's a bit wrinkled, it's giving a nice effect, which I like. Hang on a moment. Right, there we go. Sorry, son finished work, so I had to have a quick chat. So just going down on the edge. I wiped a bit of that off so I didn't have quite so much on my finger, and I kind of wiped it all off like an idiot. There we go. So I'm just going to carry on doing this. Oh, quite thick there, Jez. There we go. Wipe it out. Can't really see that flower now. Oh dear me. Yeah. Might come back in with my brush. Dry brush some on, except it's not a dry brush because it's had matte medium on it. Okay, maybe that was a better way. Well, I think that has softened those joins there a bit. I'm going to go down here now. Quite thick there now, Jez. But it's alright because I'm going to add other things. And I might do some bits up here. Just so covered up that most of that butterfly, which I didn't want to do. There we go. Just randomly put in some strokes. Just to add interest. And then I might let that dry. And add a few other things to it. So I'm going to leave that to dry. So I've wafted it with my heat gun. And so what I might do is come in with my blending brush. Have I got any ink left on that? I have got a bit. So going over where those gesso bits are to make it less white. And it's kind of blending into the background a bit there. Let's bring out some soft suede. Oh. And let's come down here. So yeah, liking how that's doing it. I think the white's going a bit more now. And that's the thing about gesso is it then takes other mediums on top. So I think that's disguised that join quite well. I do like messing around like this. And you can see, like now, I think you can see there's a difference between that bit of gesso and that bit of gesso. Not really sure if that's showing up on the camera very well, but it is to me. There's a definite difference, that it's all blending in well there, and that join is not so great, and I want to create that here. And of course the join here is not between pages of the book, it's between the two different napkins. Now I could have used the same one all the way across, but I didn't want to do that. So yeah, liking this, and I do like using that. Oh, stuck my finger right in the ink. I do like the effect of that matte gel medium instead of the watered down PVA that I always did, because I'm not getting that shininess that I didn't really like. So yeah, I'm liking this. Yeah, so I'm liking what that's doing. I'm thinking I am going to stamp. I I wasn't going to stamp because I was like feeling tired, but now I'm doing this, I'm getting a little bit more feeling energetic a bit more, so I would like to do some stamp. Okay, I didn't look far, I literally just looked, and these were the 3 stamp sets that were coming up. So yeah, I think I can use some of these, some nice funny patterns. I quite like these as well. That's a lovely butterfly, and I do love that swirl, and I do love that little bit of script there. I do like it. So let's get that mounted. Right, I'm gonna get soft suede and it's very light. This might read Nightmead Rinkin. So I'm looking for spaces where there's like gaps. Put it in. Yeah. And as yet, I don't know what orientation things are going to be in. So that's the fun of it. That's a nice swirl, isn't it? Put it down there. Yeah. I'm liking that. Let's have our butterfly. Oh, nice big space there. Yep. And then let's have some script. Now, I might take this off this actually, because I don't want full imprints, so there. I find sometimes when you're stamping on top of gesso, it will smudge a bit, and so be careful until it dries properly what you end up getting. Yeah, I think most of the ink's gone now. So I can always, when it's cut up, add to it, but that's looking good. So I was watching Artie Mays, and she did something with some distress crayons. and I thought I liked that. But I'm not sure now. I've added water-based inks, so if I add water to it now, they will smudge. But I can try and do it in areas where they're not going to be. So I've got some watercolour pencils, but have I got colours that I want? I've got some don't want those colours. Maybe those. Places where we've got gaps. And then use some water. There's my paintbrush that I like. There's my paintbrush that I like. Nice and wet. Just to add a little bit of colour on there. I just realised that's crushed curry, although it doesn't look like it on the end there. So it's a bit yellow. And the water is bringing up the napkin a bit. So I'm going to be a bit more careful there. So, not over happy with that. Don't think I've spoiled it, but I'm not sure that I want to do any more. No. Don't think I want to do any more with that. Never a massive fan when I start messing like that. So we've got gesso, we've got ink blending, we've got stamping, and then I've done a little bit of something else. So I think we need to now chop it up and make some things. So what length? I don't know what size we're looking at. Don't know where my big ruler's gone that I was using earlier. So we use this one. So these are 9 inches. Is that? Yeah, it's about 9 inches. That was the right way around. I thought I'm reading backwards, but I'm not. So it's 9 inches that way, and goodness only knows what that way. So that's a bit tall for a tag, but I could get 2, so I could get one going that way. So I could have 6.5 and 3.5. Could do that. So if I cut, let me get rid of these. Okay, so that's them cleared away. So I'm going to bring out my big guillotine. And I'm thinking I'm going to cut 7. Yeah, and then I can have 7 like there. And then I'm going to go down 3.5 there. And then cut this up. So that could be 2 3/4. And then that would be 2 3/4, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's a big tag. Yeah, gonna neaten the edges. I might just go on the back here. It's quite fat really, isn't it? Let's have a look at it. Right, now I can see it. I think that needs to be a little tag on its own. This is what we're working with our mass makes. We've got a big one there. So how big is that? Found my ruler. Yeah, so it's 7.5 by 3.5. So that's a nice big tag. And then we've got a couple of little ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this one could be a journaling card or a pocket. So, right. They're not over thick because it was just a paper bag and whatever, but that's not straight there either. So I need to make tag tops and decorate. Yeah, that one's definitely not straight. There. Where's my nice punch? There's my nice punch. Right, I'm gonna make a centre hole. There we are. I do want to round my corners. There we go. Tag shaped. Sorted. Do that one that way round. So I might speed this bit up, getting them all sorted. Now, did I turn that into 2 inches? Because I've got my favourite tag topper, but stick that up. Yeah, it's about 2 inches. That gives me a nice top like that. I'm going to use the smaller corner on this one because it's narrower. But that's a nice tag. Now I was thinking that actually I might make these something different. So I might fold that down there and have it like a fold out. Fold out something. Place to journal. Make that a pocket. Just an interesting fold out journaling space. With a pocket. Without a pocket. Pocket on the back. Flip out on a page. Flip that way and that's a pocket. That would work, wouldn't it? Flip out to journal on. Flip that way. Little tuck. Space there to put wherever you like on it. Possibly. Right round the corners. Yeah. Or I could just have that as a tuck on the inside. And that flips out. Don't know. Just thoughts. Staring at this, I love these two butterflies. So that could be the same sort of thing. A little flip out with a little tuck pocket. That's quite nice on the back there. It's almost framed. I might just like the way those two butterflies were. So that could get stuck down on a page. Could flip out there, a little pocket right on there, and that could even be a pocket behind. Although I like that. That could stick on a page like that. So you've got a nice little tuck. Turn the page over. That could flip out. Possibilities. Possibilities. So yeah, got myself two little things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tags and a journaling card, which are not finished, but that's sort of a mass make of some bases that I can use later on for something. And I think the video's gone on too long for decorating, and there's a bit of me that doesn't want to decorate. Save them because I want to leave them so they're mass made ready to decorate in a theme to match whatever project or journal that I'm doing. But quite like those. That's kind of got me back in to doing a bit of crafting, and I'm thinking maybe I should get one finished. Maybe so. Okay, so I have decided that I might edit the video, so I might speed things up. So I am going to decorate some of these. This may be a separate video, I don't really know yet. So I've recently been on holiday, so I packed up and cut out some of Which Craft Do You Do, Kerry Fellows. She's made loads of kits, and they're called like Bits and Pieces or Bits and Bobs, can't remember now. And so all different colours in each kit. I split them all up into these little bags, so they were handy and ready to use whilst on holiday. Had some other sort of fussy cuts that I had. Yeah, so they're all, and I just pulled them out and I thought, well, I've got them already, let's make some. So I was just playing, and this one I've already decided on, and I just thought that finishes the tag. Obviously it needs a thingy, and I've just realised my glue is still packed away, my little glue, so I've only got big glue. So yeah, oh well, this is what you've got, Jess. So yeah, and I just thought that finished it quite nicely. So that's what I'm doing here. And I thought, because it's coming different colours, I thought, well, I can pick a colour that will work well. And I knew I had some greens, so that's where I started. I picked the greens out, and then I thought, oh, I need a little label. And there's bigger labels in this. I tried the bigger one and thought it was too big. So I remembered there were littler ones. So I thought that will work nicely. Like so. And I picked out one of my little fussy cut butterflies, which had green in it, and it's got picked out the colour from that number as well. So that was where I was going with that. And I thought that finished the tag off very nicely. Turning my tad, actually. Turning my tad. There we go. And that's one of the tags where I didn't put the slot in because I thought I might eyelet it. Put an eyelet in it. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do them all. So that's using some of the green stuff. So now let's think about the pink one. Now this is... can't even remember what are on some of these. Don't want owls. Oh, those colours are quite good on there. That butterfly there might be too big. I think that would be the only one I would use. So then I could bring in a label. So there's a label there, got blue on it, quite like that. Rip it off. Do you know, when I was on the aeroplane, I didn't take my little metal ruler, because I don't know, I got a bit paranoid thinking, oh, they might confiscate it, and then I'd be gutted because I love that little metal ruler, and because I suppose it could potentially be a weapon. So I used my debit card to rip things, and it worked quite well. See, I really want that down there, but I didn't want to cover that butterfly. I want to see that butterfly. The whole point of picking that was it went with that butterfly. But now I'm thinking that's too high. So, have I got... I could do that. Now I'm thinking I want something smaller. But I like the fact that it had a bit of blue on it. Why don't I take that bit off? So it is just the number. Yeah, let's do that. And then I want something else. Don't really want a butterfly. But I'm thinking I do want something else. Let me ink that whilst I'm thinking. Bit of doily maybe? Something long. Oh, I know, I've got lots of nice bits and bobs here that are quite long. Trying to decide if I like that one. That one. So many different shades and colours to choose from. Quite like that, and I do like a ruler. Do like these rulers. Could have a little bit of a ruler going on underneath as well. Just on a bit of it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. That's what we're doing. So this is too long. Take that off the top. I also want to take a bit of that off. Might be hard to rip. I may have to cut. I'm going to have to cut it. Just want to sliver off. Do. Right. I want to get off there between the 17 and the 18. I like that dark side on the inside. Right, we need to come over a bit because we still want to see our butterfly down there. I got that like that. Yep, like that. I like it. So I need to ink these bits. Right, so we'll stick that down. Here we are. So that is another one done. And there's another one. So I might leave it at that. You can see how they look decorated, and I'll leave the others blank and decorate them as I need them, but I've got some ideas there of where I'm going. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll put some photos over on my blog, some close-ups of these, and yeah, hope you like that. Give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, and yeah, I'll be back soon when I'm feeling less tired. Bye for now.